Good morning, everyone. What do we got? Monday, May 22nd, Board of Control. Will the clerk call the roll?
Calling the roll for the Monday, May 22nd, 2023 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:01 a.m. We have Levine Ross serving as an alternate for Meredith Turner. Councilmember Dale Miller.
Here.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.
Here.
Michael Chambers serving as an alternate for Chris Renee, County Executive.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer. Here. Catherine Tukachik serving as an alternate for Paul Porter. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from May 15th. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Is there any public comment?
No public comment?
Thank you. Let's go to our first item.
First item, BC 2023-319, Department of Public Works recommending an award on RQ 11528 and enter into a purchase order with Hall Public Safety Upfitters, also known as Hall Public Safety Company, in the amount not to exceed $30,628.02 for modifications of two 2024 Ford Police Interceptors to be built out at the Harvard Garage.
Good morning, everyone. Tom Pavich, Public Works. So this first item is an award to Hall Public Safety. It's to outfit two police interceptors. The first two items are actually very closely related. We released a large formal bid. We tried to consolidate as part of our new strategy, a large vehicle purchase. So we included several different types of vehicles. One component was the build out of the police interceptors. Hall Public Safety, they only bid on the build out. There was two bidders for the build out part of this formal bid, and this is the award for it.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Let the record know we have Ms. Nicole English here for Public Works.
Yeah, we have Nicole English serving as an alternate for Michael Dever.
Okay, she's here. Great. Thanks, Tom, again. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-320, Department of Public Works recommended an award on RQ 11528 and enter into a purchase order with Feldman Ford LLC in the amount not to exceed $168,320 for the purchase of two 2024 Ford Ranger Super Cabs and two 2024 Ford Police Interceptors.
Good morning again, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is another award to that same RFB that we released. This award is to Feldman. This is for two Ford Ranger pickup trucks and two police interceptors, which will go to the sheriffs. The whole bid itself, we went to 16 vendors. We had 3 vendors that submitted bids. Each vehicle component of that RFB had at least 2 vendors bid. So the Rangers and the police interceptors, we did have 2 bids within that large formal bid, and Feldman was the lowest bidder on the Rangers and the interceptors.
Okay, Tom, thank you. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Macular. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is
Thank you.
approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-321, Fiscal Department submitting an amendment to a contract with G-Force Technology Consulting Incorporated for information technology professional services related to the stabilization of the Enterprise Resource Planning System Cash and Treasury Management Module for the period August 30th, 2021 through December 31st, 2023, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $231,150.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum, Fiscal Department. This is an amendment to our G-Force contract. What this amendment will do is help configure our systems for the AP module. This AP module will pretty much help with invoice timing approval, and it'll make it a lot easier for the end users to edit their invoices instead of starting over and creating a brand new invoice.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there questions from the board?
Yes.
Councilman.
So why is this still being organized? I thought that the ERP was pretty much fully up and running.
The ERP is up and running. What this module is going to do is right now, currently, if someone enters a payment for AP, if it's wrong, the payment's denied and they have to start all over and enter a brand new invoice. So now this will pretty much kind of create a box to where if the invoice is wrong, you can send it back to the end user. They can make the needed changes and resubmit the invoice instead of starting over.
So this is a system upgrade.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Are there additional questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2023-322, Fiscal Office submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Protiviti Government Services Incorporated through its staffing division, Robert Half Government, in the amount not to exceed $250,000 for a joint cooperative purchase of a temporary staffing services for the period May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Dominique, Fiscal Department. This is a contract with Protiviti. It's a staffing division through Robert Half. This contract is to allow for temporary staff to help out in the fiscal department.
Okay, Dominique, thank you again. Questions from the board?
What kind of work is typically done by the temporary staff?
They currently help out in our AP department, our bank reconciliation department. Sometimes Treasury has help from them as well.
And does the staff hired this way cost more money than if we get regular employees?
Yes, it does.
So are we having a hard time filling vacancies? Is that the problem?
Yeah, because we have some positions that's been posted multiple times, but we haven't been able to fill them. We do have interviews scheduled for the 30th, so hopefully that'll take away some of the temporary staff, but right now we're having a hard time filling the positions.
And is this contract on an as-needed basis?
Yes.
And if we don't need all the money, there
Then we
might
don't
be some
spend it.
left. And does this supersede a contract that was previously in place for the same thing?
Yes.
And in the most recent contract, did we use all of the money or was there some left over?
There's still some of the money left over from the previous contract.
And how much was left over?
I would say right now it's probably about $100,000 left over.
Ah, okay, so we a fair amount if it wasn't needed.
Yes,
Okay,
but we're just doing a new contract just because of the date on the last one.
understood. Okay, thank you.
Are there additional questions? Seeing none, then I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Macular. All in favor to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item's approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2023-323, Department of Information Technology submitting an amendment to a contract with BPS Ventures 2 LLC, DBA BPS Technologies for the purchase of maintenance and software support on the Wright Fax Enterprise Fax Manager server for the period June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2024, to convert one business server to enterprise server, to add 8 Wright Fax licensing and support for the Department of Health and Human Services effective June 1st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $11,367.51. And that's a correction to read. It had 6/1/2013, it's 6/1/2023.
Correct. Good morning, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. Has read in, this is the first amendment with BPS. HHS realized, or subsequent to the contract you guys approved April 10th, that they were out of compliance. So this is twofold. This amendment is taking care of a license issue. It's also upgrading their server from a business class to an enterprise class and the support.
Thank you, Dennis. Are there questions from the board?
Yes, what is the difference between a business server and an enterprise server?
I wouldn't be able to admit. You got that one?
Mr. Meal?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Dale.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Just the time amount, it needs to be refreshed, so you go from a 5-year refresh cycle to about a 7-year refresh cycle.
But what's the enterprise versus, what was, business?
Yeah, so from the server hardware support, goes from a longer refresh cycle. Additionally, there are the business license that we had for the Wright Fax software. was only good for one instance. An enterprise instance now, we can have multiple instances. This is where HHS was using the executive Department of IT's licensing, so we had to split those off into a full enterprise agreement license. So similar to Microsoft, where you can have, you know, a business enterprise license or business licensing, then you have to go to an enterprise agreement licensing. So when we do a refresh or a renewal of services next year, we'll all be in one enterprise agreement. So we'll consolidate the licenses into one agreement. So they required enterprise license then versus a business license for more than one licensing for a business of a larger, you know.
Mr. Mackler, please.
Right, so Jeremy, to that point, is there a point where we stop with a business license and it turns into an enterprise license? Is it volume? What?
Yes, a
causes it?
volume of more than one is what they were saying to us, yes.
So we might have multiple one license, which would be business license, and then once you put them together, it becomes an enterprise license? Is
Yes,
that
and we
fair?
get we get an account rep, we get a lot of other services, so we have a central point. So with this with the Health and Human Services, we had to upgrade to that enterprise licensing.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, then I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Ross. All in favor to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item's approved. Next item.
Item is approved as
Oh,
amended.
Thank you, I apologize. As amended.
Next item, BC 2023-324, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $10,831.69 for a state contract purchase of a Bosch alarm system installation and programming services and one-year system monitoring for the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Dennis Sullivan with IT. This item and the next one are both with IPS. IPS is the standard for the county. They're both exemptions under state term for the purchasing. This first one is for application alarm system at the kennel animal shelter.
Okay, let's handle that one first. Are there any questions on this one from the board? Please.
Question.
Yes.
Indicated that there's a
Oh, I am not positive. I would say this is, there's a present system now, I know, but is this the first time they're going to an IPS? Yeah, so it's a complete overhaul enhancement, making it IPS, so that it's the same throughout the county.
Thank you. Good question. Any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2023-325, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $6,506.88 for a state contract purchase of one access control panel, one IC Edge video entry kit, one card reader, and various equipment needed for installation and programming of the surveillance camera for the Sheriff's Department administrative entrance, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Dennis Sullivan with IT. State term schedule, county standards, this application is read in Sheriff's Department administrative entrance.
Okay, Dennis, thank you again. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Next item, BC 2023-326, Law Library submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to West Publishing Corporation, DBA Thomson Reuters, also known as Thomson Reuters Enterprise Center, GmbH, and the amount not to exceed $149,390.64 for electronic legal research and reference database services for library patrons for the period June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2026, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Dugan. I'm the Director of the County Law Library. And this is for a 3-year, brand-new Westlaw contract for our patrons for on-site use. And it provides primary authorities, treatises, forms, practice guides, expert materials, briefs, motions, court orders, jury instructions, dockets. It's a very comprehensive plan. And no general funds will be used to acquire this. It's all in our budget.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Other questions from the board? Mr. Mackler?
Which I guess this might be for Cheryl, but I thought West Publishing was one of the vendors that had, in essence, a permanent exemption by the Board of Control. Am I missing something on that? I was just curious
Well,
why we needed the exemption.
I can answer on behalf of the law library. Years and years ago, we obtained a perpetual exemption from competitive procurement for the purchase of books and literature, et cetera, at the law library. So that's how we're participating in the exemption process. If there's one for Westlaw, I'd love to know about it.
I know we did one for like LexisNexis and others. I just thought Westlaw was included in that, or what was it, were they not?
That was for a subscription service. I believe this is a little different. This is legal research and reference database services. Previously, it was done as an RFP exemption. I know some of them are on the administrative list of procurement exemptions, but I don't know that this one is.
Okay.
And they usually do come back on the agenda as an RFP exemption regardless, because they're exempt from the competitive bid process, but not exempt from approval by the board because the expenditure is over $5,000. If it was under
Right.
5, it would be on the PODL list, but because it's over
Is
that
your question
amount.
the exemption, or is it?
Yeah,
just-
the exemption component. I just
It's kind
thought-
of like state term. I think we should have a further conversation, maybe another section where,
I just thought this was one of the vendors that we,
Yeah.
in essence, approved a permanent exemption. Now, I understand the agreement but I
like
thought,
postage too. We
You're
do
right.
that, but we still come back. So we should have a
Still,
little
Trevor,
further.
I mean, he's been talking about this for a while, just because we look like we're doing a lot more RFP exemptions than maybe we
No,
truly are.
I think we should have another section on our agenda here for
For
these type of
strictly
items.
administrative list of procurement exemptions, we could.
Something like that. We should have a conversation though. All right.
Same
Thanks,
with
Trevor.
Chairman, yeah.
Yeah.
And just to add, the statutory governance for the county law library requires us to get all contracts approved by the board. So, I mean, in a county commissioner's environment, so this is the equivalent in our environment.
We're just gonna make it a little easier for you. You still have to
That
come.
sounds good.
Don't worry.
I was reading between the lines and thinking that's what you meant, so yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, seeing no further questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Mackler. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item's approved. Thank you.
Thank
Next
you.
item.
Next item, BC 2023-327, Sheriff's Department recommending an award on RQ 11557 and enter into a purchase order with Vasu Communications Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $25,833.25 for the purchase of 75 XL200 Viking single remote head radios for use in the sheriff's deputy vehicles.
Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. We're requesting approval of the purchase of 75 remote head radios from Vasu. As you may recall, back in March, we came forward for approval for 75 mobile multiband radios, including programming with an option for single remotes. After reviewing the installation process, we do need to go ahead and get these remotes. We went back, reviewed the original submissions with this option in there off the RFB, and Vasu is still the lowest.
All right, Chris, thank you again. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Mackler. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item's approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-328, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to Top Golf USA Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $30,818 for rental of space, buffet, 4 hours of golf play, 3 hours of Top Golf coaching for all guests, and related services in connection with the 2023 Foster Adoption Caregiver Night Out, 5820 Rockside Woods Boulevard, North Independence, to be held on June 24, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hi, good morning. Ramon Caldos, Health and Human Services, on behalf of the Division of Children and Family Services. We are seeking approval for an upcoming event called Foster Caregiver Night Out, which is to show appreciation for our foster parents. The aim is to recognize and celebrate the dedication and commitment of our existing caregivers. This will also serve the purpose of positively influencing the support, retention, and recruitment of foster parents. We are asking for an exemption on this one. I know there was some advanced question about it, but the timing of this aligns with the utilization of grant money, which has to be completed by June 30th. And the funding is 100% foster care recruitment and retention grant.
Okay, thank you, Ramon. Are there questions from the board? Mr. Macular?
Good morning. Is it only for current foster parents, or,
Current, yes.
so it's not used as a tool to try to get additional people signed up and become foster parents?
That is correct. We are hoping for word of mouth, just, to have the current foster parents tell their friends about the support that they receive from the agency.
How many people do you think will come to this event?
I'm not sure. We're planning on sending 200 invites once approved.
Do you know how many foster parents we currently have in Cuyahoga County?
It's around that amount.
So this, 200. So this would go out to all current, the invite would go out to all current foster parents?
I believe so.
Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item are the consent agenda items BC 2023-329 through BC 2023-335.
Kind of a large couple items this time. Very nice. Board members, please let me know if you have any questions on any of these items.
I'll move approval.
We have move for approval. I will second it. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Any other business?
No other business?
Any additional public comment?
No additional public comment?
I will make the motion to adjourn. Is there a
Hold
second?
on a minute.
Oh, oh boy.
Do we have an announcement regarding the next meeting?
Oh, it's a holiday, yeah.
No, but we can. The next Board of Control meeting is Tuesday, June,
No, it's
May 30th, I'm sorry, at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Okay, good call, Mr. Councilman. All right, I will make motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All in favor to adjourn, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.